Hello world, so it's actually afternoon, so I can't say good morning, but hello world is always a good way to start this video. So today I was looking at a post on Facebook on new urbanist memes for transit-oriented teens, which is probably the coolest thing on Facebook that there is. And I saw this map of the Netherlands. My first thought was, wow, as you look at this, pretty much the entire country's connected by high-speed rail. Those are all of the lines you see here. Utrecht, Zwolle, Den Haag, all the way down to Heerlen, all have really good quality lines. And this 2 times per hour you see is the solid one. That's most of the country. I was like, wow. How is... So, the obvious response to this that people are going to say are going to be, well, 1, the Netherlands is small, so they can do it. Number 2, they're densely populated, so they can do it. And other reasons why the Netherlands can, but the United States cannot. Now, I thought, well, let's look at this. And if we compare it to AMTRAK, on this map, it's, let's just say it's a little sparse. There are a lot of cities you can see here, like here's Cleveland, here's Louisville, Nashville, just unserved. Apparently no one from Atlanta goes to Florida, I guess? I mean, even routes that you'd think would be profitable, potentially, aren't there. So let's prove that. Oh yeah, Scranton, left out. So, is the reason that Dutch cities are just that much bigger than American cities? Here's the biggest one in Amsterdam, 800 million people. Rotterdam, 600,000, no, 800,000 people, sorry, 600,000, 500,000, and down from there. There are only a handful that are bigger than the city I live in Bellingham. And then, so there's the Netherlands. Their cities, Amsterdam and Rotterdam are good sized, but if Amsterdam was in the United States, we look at the list of combined statistical areas, it would be ranked, let's keep going, as the 62nd largest city. Actually, what we really should do is go Wikipedia, actually easier to do this. If we click there, open link in new tab, Rotterdam, and let's say, well, comparing municipalities to combined statistics is not fair, and I'll say fair, alright. Rotterdam, Amsterdam, the largest, would be the 14th largest city in the United States, by that metric as well. So, then we have all of these other cities, such as, what's a good example? Well, here's Houston, and here's Dallas, and here's the AMTRAK map for Texas. Scroll over here. Houston, Dallas. See the lack of a line between the two. Huh. So, that's kind of a cursory overview. Well, so let's actually look at it mathematically. So here's a map of all the cities in the world above 400,000 people. I think this is metropolitan area. This is by county in the United States, so it's not just city limits. And these clusters are within, I think this was 300 kilometers or so. No, 4 times 150 is, it's basically a 4-hour train ride between these. And you see lots of clusters. Here's California, Eastern United States, all of Europe, and lots of issues. But then again, unless you're really going from Atlanta to Montreal, this isn't really the best way to look at it. So the way I like to look at it nowadays is here we have a list of all the countries I downloaded from a website online. It's in my source code, which is in the doobly-doo down below, and the description. And so in the base here, this is all the cities in the world, including some that are really small, like Kal Ege now in Afghanistan, 2,997 people. Really small. So what I did then is I said, well, let's look at the Netherlands. It's basically the same list as we saw before. and not identical, but it's close enough. And then you have the United States here. So what I did is I took the combination of every American city in the U.S. and made it above a certain size, and determined the distance and the combined population for all of those cities. And then on the far right, you see this power variable. This is the combined population divided by the distance. And that gives you what I think is a fairly good understanding, so that cities that are basically a larger city with a smaller distance between them. Yeah, that's right. That's why they're divided. A bigger cities combo with less distance between them will have a higher power. And I did the same thing for the Netherlands. That's part of what this entire spreadsheet does. And so here's the United States. You see power starts at 130,000, maxes out at 130,000, and goes down from there. And so it's all basically people divided by kilometer. And then for Dutch, it starts at 11,000. Is the best pair they have between The Hague and Amsterdam and Eindhoven, actually. And then you have Eindhoven and Amsterdam there as well. I said over 100 kilometers because less than that you're really getting local. But they really, and you keep that constant, and you find they start at 11,273 is the best combo they have for a high-speed rail. So if you scroll down, I then say, well, let's take all the cities in the United States, which are over 100 kilometers apart, and have a greater power than the best combination in the Netherlands. And let's take the largest city in the pair and value counts. 192 links from New York, 100 from Chicago, 59 in Los Angeles, etc. There are cities like Seattle, which is, the largest city, and the closest city to us larger than us is San Francisco. And yeah, so, and then you go and you say, well, what would it look like if we built these? So then I took all of those, and these are the areas that would get served by high-speed rail if we only did the best places for high-speed rail that are better than the best in the Netherlands. And what you see is that here is Denver, Phoenix, and you see clusters in Northern California, Southern California, the Northwest, the Northeast and Midwest are all one cluster. Minneapolis, not sure where that came in. And so these are all have at least one pair which is better than the best combo in the Netherlands. So yeah. And here's the Netherlands. You have really only 4 over 400,000 people. Which is, compared to the United States, if we set that threshold for cities, you have, keep scrolling, 47 cities current today with over 400,000 people in their city limits. You use combined statistical areas. Let's just use page down here. You have 101 different cities, all the way down to Appleton, Wisconsin, which in the Netherlands would be like huge, but in the United States is, how often do you think of Appleton? So that's the conclusion I'm coming to, is that when you look at these European cities with these train companies that, if they aren't profitable, come really close to being profitable, they are working in an area that's actually not as ideal as the United States. They're working with generally smaller populations, which are further apart, and both the United States, you have really the best market in the world for a couple reasons. Number one, we're rich. We have one of the highest. Well, let's do it. We have. We are number 11, and the Netherlands is poorer than us. Not by much. We're pretty close, but we are 10% richer than they are. per capita. So it's not that we're not rich enough. It's not that our cities are not close enough. It's not that there isn't the demand. It's not that we don't have the money for it, because we have a $4 trillion budget, and it will cost less than that to build high-speed rail to all these very profitable routes. It's not even that it's going to be a tax burden, because it's probably going to make more money than we spend into it. So the only thing I can think of is its political will. It's not that American, and so if we really want to live in a country that really takes advantage of all the possibilities this country has to offer, and really be the best we can, is go lobby. On January 3rd, we're going to have a new Congress. The Democrats take over the House. We are going to see new legislatures in every state in our country. So, if you're interested in having good quality transit and not having to drive your car in our country, call your legislators, call your governors, call your representative, call your senators, and tell them that you want to have high quality transit. You don't want to have to drive your car, and that this should be a priority. So, yeah, that's the conclusion. And that's how America is going to become even better than we've ever been before. So, have a great day. Goodbye.